Hey, hello. My name is Yolanta. Today I'm presenting the topic on most overlooked GenAI use cases. So a little bit about me before we jump into the topic. So I am a founder currently at Marlem, but 15 years ago I joined computer-generated studies, which led me to luckily be hired by the marketing store worldwide for various use cases, VR, AR, as well as product design. And then my startup career began after some time. I was previously a co-founder in a Dutch startup for waste tech, and currently, like I mentioned, going through Marlem, where we help businesses scale their customer acquisition. So the topic that we're covering will have a few slides on the science of low value use cases, as well as the science of high value use cases, and how to find high value generative AI use cases. And these findings are based on talking with hundreds of experts in the last 6 months alone, trying to figure out and dig deeper into these new technologies, as well as expand how we understand existing AI with new AI tools. So, like I said, hundreds of experts experts interviewed. So, the high level summary will be shared in these slides. So, but to begin with, we want to declare boldly and challenge our current assumptions by saying that most generative AI use cases are low value still. And, just as a few examples, you can think about cold outreach, email generation, which is not great. Like no one likes spam. And Google is also cracking down on spam generating domains, blacklisting them. Then we see a lot of chatbot ideas, but do people prefer that? Do people still prefer to speak person to person? So that's not, questionably not a great use case, let's say, in most cases. And we see a lot of summarization, of insights and so on. But do they actually summarize those insights, or do they produce good quality insights? And basically, are we missing out on comprehending topics ourselves? So, some of those most common use cases that people identify, and they're easy to copy. They are overhyped wrappers often, and they offer no moats as well. And oftentimes, OpenAI or AWS can do it better than we can. So, for example, OpenAI announced custom GPTs, which will enable training large language models on a specific domain. And basically, they know how to create customization of language models without lobotomizing the weights, which is the side effect of other engineers doing it. So oftentimes those weights get affected in a negative way, and AI models don't work that well anymore. So, just as an example of the low value signals, or low value use case signals. And ultimately, one more signal is low traction. So users are not rushing to use it or not lining up to purchase it. So on the flip side, if we look at high value use cases that are still overlooked, the signals we see there are clients line up to use it. They offer real impact, long-term impact. They are harder to copy, and they attract funding. So going into how to uncover high value use cases, we noticed that there's between 1 or 2 techniques missing in the experts and product designers we talk to. So they're good at using one, but kind of omit the other technique. So going into how to uncover those high value use cases, we'd like to start with, first you have to seek to understand the tech deeper. We are good at identifying chatbots as the use case because we understand generative AI is really good at predicting the next token. And that use case becomes obvious, but we don't understand other concepts around machine learning, for example, embeddings, and nearest neighbor concept, or what does that mean, and how the analysis and classification, which is extremely powerful, concept, and what kind of use cases that could inspire. So the first tip on technique is to always look to understand the technology better, deeper, and understand those key concepts of machine learning, and new use cases will become apparent. A great source to do so is course.fast.ai, which is very practical, pragmatic. You can watch those lessons and understand how different types of models work, and the AI field will be a little bit less mysterious. So an additional benefit of seeking to understand the technology deeper is potential white space benefit, less competition. So if we go into second technique is making sure you're solving super pains and not nice to haves. And by that, I mean, you have to be evidence-based, not assumption-driven when it comes to understanding what is the use case. So, and this goes back to deeper understanding of your customers, carrying out research, interviewing research, mapping their existing journey in a particular field, and identifying lukewarm pains versus super pains, and picking one or two to solve. This usually uncovers additional use cases you didn't see, because a lot of ideas are based on our assumptions, and frankly, this is low entry bar. Everyone has assumptions. Everyone has low-hanging fruit ideas, and we're good at generating ideas and assumption-driven ideas. Like, that's not gonna uncover anything special. So you have to go evidence-based. You have to discover super pains and make sure you're solving for that. And frankly, from our experience, it's always something completely surprising, completely a blind spot you didn't see before. So go evidence-based. That will guarantee high traction with customers, because customers usually buy solutions to super pains, not for nice to haves. And for this, we recommend human-centric design methods, which are listed in the resource link below. So just take a screenshot of this video and make sure you apply human-centric design principles. Moving on to third technique, which is overlooked by some experts we've spoken to, is researching new policy, especially for this AI, new emerging technology. There's first-time AI regulations coming out for UK and in EU. We're talking about pro-innovation AI regulation and first-time EU AI Act, where they then define the key principles for emerging technology and products, and the new legislation that's coming into play, very shortly, very soon. And I know that even if it sounds a little bit boring to recommend to do so, it really informs the long-term trend. In some cases, we notice people saying the opposite of what the legislation is going to be. So, for example, legislation is saying human in the loop, creating systems that have humans overlooking the AI and AI governance for safety, for accountability, and so on. So that's going to be one of the core principles. But what we sometimes hear in the industry is that, oh, we're overbuilding the system to automate the human away completely. So make the humans bypassable completely. And to me, that sounds like they're gonna see some trouble soon, because the legislation is gonna come out, and high risk use cases will be cracked down on in some cases. So read those documents. They're a little bit dry, but sometimes also spell out the ideas as well. So uncover long-term trend use cases, and obviously they're more attractive to funding. So serious investors and serious organizations like governmental organizations will look to sponsor and fund those use cases. So that's your source of ideas and use cases. So moving on to last technique is leveraging your domain expertise, specifically for generative AI, because as a lot of people are realizing now, there's a very low entry bar to utilize this technology. There's not a lot of moats in it either, because you don't have to have an excessive amount of proprietary data or any other hurdle that used to be a problem to generate, to create something bespoke and like proprietary AI. So leveraging your domain expertise is more important because it provides that competitive edge, and in networks effects, well-established networks effects, you also will utilize a niche insight that took you perhaps 10 years to gain, and everyone else in that space are basically catching up, to learn what you already know. And they're also harder to copy because of those niche understanding and knowledge that you hold. So here we would say, if you are inspired to innovate because the technology is innovative and you want to make it meaningful, let's say change completely into green tech or sustainable tech, but you have no domain expertise, we would say don't do it, because you're catching up with PhD graduates or other entrepreneurs who have extensive experience in those fields, and they will be able to move faster and build better use case products. So a good resource to read upon that is by this essay by established venture capital investor in deep tech, the new modes. So they will explain how your domain expertise and leveraging it in this field might make most sense for going faster to market. Yeah, so that's the fourth technique. And the fifth technique is a bit of a cheat code, but we say it's combined. You need to combine the previous four, because it doesn't make sense if you are reading all the policies and you have extensive domain expertise and you understand the technology, but you're solving a nice to have, not a super pain, or vice versa. If you're not combining those four techniques to really maximize your potential to be the top 1% of 1% of 1%. And we say the nicher you go, the quicker you grow. It's in the overlap where the best use cases live, and you do have to sit uncomfortably in the research phase a little bit, researching the users, the customers, the technology, policy, and then eventually, after you went kind of wide and deep, you'll be able to come back with that, deep insight and base your development effort on some solid grounding. Okay, let's just see. So the overlap, and just to complete that with an illustration of a use case. So we at Marlem are applying the same techniques to solve future of scalable acquisition for B2Bs. We want to bring more qualified leads that convert better. We're leveraging our domain expertise in the field of 15 years, and we've solved numerous marketing automations in the past using AI for inbound and outbound lead generation. AI is not new to us. For last 7 or 6 years, we were aware of it and using it in various different products. And we're working on aligning with new policy to keep design systems that have a human overlooking to make sure that these tools are also safe. So if you are have any questions about anything that was shared in this presentation, please feel free to reach out to me. Also, if you're interested in scaling your customer acquisition in B2B space, then please reach out to us as well. It was a great pleasure to present, and I look forward to talking to you.